Welcome to ZYLIA 6 Degrees of Freedom User Guide Part 3. In this video, we describe the process of planning and setting up the hardware for recording a 6 Degrees of Freedom scene with the ZYLIA 6 Degrees of Freedom set. For a successful recording session, the first step is to understand the requirements of the 6DoF setup. Because of the interpolation algorithm used in the ZYLIA 6 Degrees of Freedom renderer plugin, it is recommended to place the arrays in a grid with 1.5 to 2 meter distance between the arrays at the same height and facing the same direction. The gain in ZYLIA control panel should also be set to minimum to avoid clipping in any channel of any array. On the screen are examples for 5, 7 and 9 ZM1S recommended configurations. Although it is possible to experiment with different setups, having the same height and orientation avoids having to correct the Ambisonics rotation and the 6DoF renderer parameters after recording. In this way, your recordings will be optimized for usage with the renderer plugin. With this in mind, a good practice is to create a map of the location for an efficient setup process in which the ZM1S position can be translated from the real world to the 6DoF renderer plugin to obtain a realistic audio render. In this example, it is shown a map created for recording the Posen Philharmonic Orchestra with 30 ZM1S arrays. Notice the placement of the arrays in a grid between the musicians. It is also a good idea to plan the main placement of the computer station, the cable connections to the arrays and the necessary power connections. We can now start to set up the hardware for recording. The first step should be to place the stands and microphones. If the arrays do not match the planned setup and have a different position, height or rotation, make sure to make a note so it will be possible to correct later. This can be done using the 6DoF renderer plugin for the position and height and the ZYLIA Ambisonics converter for the rotation. The second step is to connect your computer to a power supply and place it on an accessible spot for the cable connections and also for the operator. Place the USB hub between the computer and the microphone arrays. You may connect it to the computer with the USB cable and to the power supply. Connect the micro USB cable to the ZM1S arrays and the USB hub. Use the additional USB active extenders if necessary. Connect the headphone amplifier to the computer line output using the 10-meter mini jack cable. Connect it as well to a power supply. Connect the mini jack cables from the headphone amplifier output to the ZM1S timecode input. Use the included splitters and mini jack to jack adapters. The hardware setup is ready. It is time to start configuring the session for recording. Turn on the computer and open the ZYLIA 6 Degrees of Freedom recording application. At this stage, the ZM1S LED should be blue. Set the session name and directory to save the files. Identify and name the ZM1S arrays as in the plan created. To set up the synchronization device, select the line output which is connected to the headphone amplifier. When the recording starts, the synchronization signal is then sent to the ZM1S line input. To live monitor, select a different audio interface, as it should not be the same used in the synchronization device. We can now proceed to a test recording. Click Start Recording, preview and listen if all ZM1S are receiving signal. By selecting an individual array, the LED will turn yellow. By stopping the recording, you can proceed to the synchronization stage. When the process is finished, access the specified session directory. In the raw folder, you will find the not synchronized files containing the timecode-like signal on the channel 20. In the sync folder, you will find the synchronized 19-channel audio files. With the recordings done, we are ready to move to the next stage of processing the files to use with the 6DoF renderer plugin in Max MSP. Thank you for watching and see you on the next video.